What it do, guys? It's D'Anthony here, man, aka Hood Scout, back again for another edition of the Hood Scout podcast. And this is really a unique podcast, a podcast like no other. We're going to have athletes, we're going to have coaches, we're going to have intellectuals, we're going to have media members of all sorts. And don't forget, guys, to like this podcast, share this podcast, and help grow this podcast. This is not just my podcast. This is also your podcast. And the only reason it's going to grow is because you guys are going to be invested in it, guys. Sit back, get your beverage of choice ready, get your popcorn ready, get your dinner ready, get your steak ready, get your vegan meal ready. Tune in, guys. Hood Scout. Peace. Hey, what it do, man? It's Hood Scout back again for another intro edition to the Hood Scout Sports Show, or should I say the Hood Scout Podcast. Of course, guys, we're going to not just cover sports. We're going to cover education. We're going to have intellectuals on there, but we're still going to talk ball. We're going to have coaches. We're going to have athletes. In this specific podcast, we went across those train tracks, man, to McKinney, Texas. We talked to McKinney High School. That's big-time football, big-time division. Their head coach, about a 40-minute interview, Arkansas Razorback alum. This one should bless you. So coaches, man, and athletes, parents, anybody who listens to this, make sure you share it, guys. Make sure you like it. And if it moves you, man, make sure you donate to the podcast. I appreciate the support, and we should appreciate the support as well. Hood Scout, signing out, man. Be blessed. Take care. Peace. Hey, what it do, man? What it do, Hood Scout, back again for another edition of the Hood Scout, really Hood Scout podcast. I want to incorporate education, but we'll call it Hood Scout High School Show. I got a great guest. I've been trying to track him down for a little bit. Finally got him on here. And like I always do, guys, without further ado, Coach, tell the people who you are and where you're from.
Man, appreciate you having me on here. My name is Marcus Shavers. I'm a head football coach, campus coordinator at McKinney High School and McKinney ISD. Just excited to be on here talking about football, talking about our program, talking about just the game that we love and kids that we love serving. And so I appreciate what you do in terms of covering.
Kind of breaking up there, Coach. Okay, there you go. Yeah, broke up for a second. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, just saying, I just appreciate, you covering the game and shedding light and using your platform to try to, what the kids say, push P, man. Talk about the positive things that the programs got going on and football and here in the state of Texas and specifically the Dallas area. So appreciate you having me on.
Hey, that's wonderful, Coach, and I'm blessed for you saying that. So where you from, Coach, and what was your introduction into ball?
So, man, I grew up, kind of moved around all over the place. Was born in Dallas, spent time with my family at Hamilton Park in my early childhood, some time in Richardson, moved to Plano, Louisville. I kind of bounced around several different places, ending up in Allen, where I went to high school and played football in Allen. Graduated from there in 2005. Went on to play football at the University of Arkansas. Got done playing there at Arkansas and got into coaching. And my first coaching job was in Wichita Falls.
Hold on. We're gonna lead up to that, Coach. Hold on. We're gonna lead up to that. Yeah. We gotta break it down. We gotta break this thing down, Coach. We do that. We'll do that. We'll be done with the podcast in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
so talk to me about the high school. What was that experience like? What are maybe some lessons you learned, during that period?
Man, high school was fun. For me, obviously going to Allen High School, school that I was proud to be at, school that had terrific athletic programs, specifically football. And for me, it was just being at the right place at the right time. Learned so much from that experience there as a football player, learn how to compete, learn how to go through adversity. I had some really good coaches. I just learned how to become a complete football player. Had my talents, they recognized the talents that I had and they went and cultivated that. And it was a cool experience being there. I learned how to get along and talk and communicate with a lot of different people. It was a little bit of a culture shock for me being a kid, that was transitioning from North Dallas to Allen. And then I got up there. It was just a cool experience to where, I had to learn how to almost fit into that culture and learn different things that I wasn't used to. And so that was cool because I think that atmosphere, the experience kind of prepared me for college. That's essentially what you end up doing when you get to college.
Okay. And what position were you playing, Coach?
So, I played fullback, middle linebacker in ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And they got rid of the fullback, and then they kind of, let me played the tight end position as a sophomore. It was in the wing tee, played the tight end position because I wasn't fast enough to play the fullback. And so ended up playing the tight end. In my junior year, moved to defensive line, played D tackle. Senior year, played defensive end. And so all my life I've been in the trenches, but it was D tackle, D end, tight end.
How big were you? What was your playing size and weight back then, Coach?
So in my senior year, I graduated. I think they got me on rivals and all that, like 6'3", maybe 260. Like I think I was maybe 260, 6'3", 260.
Hold on, we have some connection issue. Okay, you broke up, man. I don't know if it's mine. Are you connected to your Wi-Fi, Coach? We're gonna have some nuggets with this one. I want to make sure nobody missed this, man.
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, man.
We are good.
Say I got a strong signal on my end.
Okay. Wait, we're gonna rock then. So you say you said 6'1"?
I was 6'3", by 260.
Woo! So walk me through that senior year. Like as far as what was your mindset going into that year, and then ultimately choosing your college you wanted to go to.
For me, I wanted to play. I knew it was important to play. I wanted to play early. And so I think for me, I wanted to find a school where I could go and do that. So I actually committed to the University of Arkansas before my senior season.
Okay.
I had every offer that I could have ever wanted.
Big time.
Yeah, before my senior year, I was blessed. And so I was able to go, and I was fortunate enough, this is important, to have the parent support to be able to take me to, like, my godparents. I was adopted, and so, like, my family that took me in, the Franciscos, man, they had a RV. So, man, they would take me around the country, to Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Arkansas. We'll go all over the country. I was able to go on unofficial visits.
Oh, wow.
And before, kind of just they could bring me on officials, could go see these schools. And so I had an opportunity to go to Arkansas several times prior to my official visit. And, the relationships, with the coaching staff, with the guys on the team, with the other guys that they were recruiting, it was a big deal for me. And I committed early, man. I committed going into my senior season.
What year was this, Coach?
When I committed?
As far as that junior, senior year going into college, what year was that?
It would have been like 04, 05.
Okay. Yeah. So you're around my brother age. That'll work. Yeah. And when you were going on these visits, like still in high school, what stood out? Was it like, man, it's college at another level? Like when you're going around these different campuses, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
Man, I think thinking back to that time, just how big everything was, the university, the weight room, the practice facilities, the players. I remember going in there and seeing like senior running backs, you know what I'm saying? They 21. It's guys on the football team that's got wives and kids. And so, what I'm saying? I just saw that, it was for a 17, 18-year-old, you saw that, man, college was grown man business. You know what I'm saying? It was folks up here that it's a job working this game of football in the process to get their school paid for. And I think that aspect of it was something that stood out. On the outside looking in, it was so big. It was so many moving parts. And it was just almost overwhelming going into these stadiums and seeing 100,000 people. I played at Allen. We had some decent high school football crowds, but like, man, you talking about going to Arkansas and seeing 100,000 fans in there, going hard, like it's overwhelming. And so I think that was some of the things that just stuck out.
Let me ask you this, Coach. Kind of put you on the spot with this one. What's your opinion on this NIL stuff? Because obviously that from the legitimate standpoint that wasn't around then. But what's your ideas on that, Coach?
Man, they all over the place. I think it's great that the athletes have an opportunity to go and make money and to benefit from their name, image, and likeness. I do. I think the NCAA kind of releasing some of the rules that kept athletes from earning, I think that's great. On the flip side of that, I never saw when that deal came about, I really didn't foresee universities having the leverage that they may have to entice recruits to come to their school for the higher dollar amount. And that's essentially like almost college football from that perspective is almost like free agency.
True.
So the top recruits are choosing the schools now where they can go and earn the most, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But that just changes, the landscape of college football as we know it, and I think it takes some getting used to. I don't know what the ramifications are going to be long term, but I like to see people win, man. So
yeah,
I'm excited for the kids that get to come up in this time, and it's just crazy, man. You see some guys, freshmen, quarterback at Alabama, Ohio State, don't even play and can chance to make up to $1 million off the field.
Do you think? Because I hear it's a big deal now. Fans of they fans are really opinionated, which that's a whole nother topic. But do you think it's probably gonna, especially with this transfer rule, that to me that's really almost more than the NIL. Like you got a guy that can play against a rival and transfer against them next year. That's kind of to me. But do you think it's some regulations that's probably gonna come with that in the future?
Man, I'm sure. I mean, I imagine the NCAA gonna do everything in their power to try to keep the game as fair as possible. But honestly, I don't know how much they can do. At this point, I really don't. That's not my field, and so I'm a fan of it. I get to sit back and watch it. Thankfully, I get to still deal with the coaches because they still recruit high school kids, but it's like even that is starting to, shorten up a little bit just because you got the portal and
yeah, sure enough.
and guys are going to start getting, recruits out of the portal. So luckily, we have kids at our high school to still get recruited and have an opportunity to go continue to play football and get their college paid for.
And we're gonna lead up to that. So you get the Arkansas coach. What was that college experience like for you? What was the overall lesson looking back now that you might say, man, this is what I learned in college, or this is how it was in college? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So many things.
Okay.
So many things that you learn in college. One of the biggest things, probably two, that come to mind right off the top, because I wasn't great at these things. And I had to become great at them to survive college. And one of them was just learning how to be organized, like organization in my life, like from my binder to my bathroom. You hear me? Like needing the need for organization and the importance of that, and how that makes it easier for you to do the next thing that I'm about to mention, which is manage your time. And so time management, organization, two things that kind of go hand in hand. College forced me to get really good at that, because if you don't manage your time well, if you're not organized, you're not going to be able, I feel like, to perform to the levels that they require you to perform at that level. On the field and off the field. And so you'll be overwhelmed. You won't have good mental clarity. And so I think learning how to be organized and learning how to manage my time, college overall gave me that experience. And again, you fail trying to get to that point of being successful. And, when you do it, it can teach you a lesson. You stay up too late and you got 5 a.m. workouts the next morning, you'll learn the importance of getting your butt to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, if you procrastinate on an assignment, you try to do it last minute and you don't complete it, and you end up getting a bad grade that causes you to fail a class, and you got to retake that class. You learn the importance of procrastination. And so I think, time management and organization, man, those were the things that college provided for me. And that's what, man, we try to equip our kids to do, man. Be organized before you get there. It's going to save.
Yeah.
You got to manage your time right now as a high school student athlete. Right now, carve out time for homework, social, football, all those type of things, and just try to teach them that as much as possible now.
How important is that support system, Coach? I know you said you had your adopted family was really supportive in it before you even got to college, taking you around. But when you were in college, how important is it to have that support system, or is it important?
Man, it is. I think it's critical. I wouldn't have finished if I didn't have my godparents, like my parents, my family rooting me on from a distance. But specifically, man, my godfather, like every time that when you about to do something stupid, you got to call the people that you're going to end up having to fall back on. And my godfather was that person for me. Like, I knew still to this day, man, like, as my pops, like, I'm going to be able to, you can always go home. You know what I'm saying? And so if it all come to go bad, I can always go home. And so anytime that I was on the brink about to quit, I call him Larry, and I say, Larry, man, I done had enough. I'm coming home, quitting football. It ain't for me. I done lost the love for the game. He'd always kind of like, talk me down and make sure I'm making the right decision and let me know he supported me. But, bro, this is what you're giving up. This is what you're about to go into. You need to persevere.
Oh, that's good.
No easy words for you, but it's like you need to keep sticking and staying. Like, you ain't got kicked off. They still willing to pay for your college education for you to play the game of football, play football.
Oh, that's good.
So just if you don't have that, if you don't have those people like that, they can give you sound advice. It's tougher, if you don't have those people in your corner, and they can come in all different forms of fashion. It don't have to be in that, but like for me, that's what it was. Being able to call people and they continue to encourage me to stay with it, stick it through. And then just when things aren't going well, when they are going well, somebody to be able to share those times with. That was always clutch for me. I never.
Yeah, that's important. That what you just said, youngsters. When y'all listen to this podcast from all over, or coaches, that's a good one. Who was, and we're finna move on from this part, but who was some of the notable ballers back in that time when we was in college, Coach, just from a conference perspective or in general?
Well, my teammate, Darren McFadden.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah, was the truth. Best running back for 2 of those 3 years right there. Best running back in college football, up for the Heisman. Should have won the Heisman. Still bitter about that, but yeah.
Hey, kids, go watch Derek McFadden, man. He was really a unique running back. I mean, good size, long, fast. Yeah. You don't really see running back like that.
And they rare, man. But yeah, he was balling. Reggie Bush was finishing up. He was a beast.
Yeah.
We got to play there my freshman year. Vince Young, finishing up, and it was just really, really, really good players in our league. You had LSU, who had a really great cast of football players. Glenn Dorsey, a defensive tackle on that.
Dominant. Yep.
Patrick Willis at Ole Miss. I'm trying to think of some other guys in the conference.
Well, Patrick Willis was good too, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay Cutler was a quarterback.
Vanderbilt.
At that time. Yeah, man, we got to see some really, really good players, man. So yeah, they was, of course, Tebow, Chris Leak, all them guys was at Florida during that time. Yeah, man.
That's all gravy. So you get out of school, coach. Then what's next, man? Yeah, you out of college. What's next?
Yeah, get out of college and had an injury my senior year and wasn't able to finish, and so wasn't gonna pursue the league and nothing like that. I knew I wanted to go be a coach. I knew it was like, okay, let me go find me where I can find a position coaching job or something like that, and go through this phase of trying to be a teacher and coach, see what that looked like. I like to coach. I want to stay connected with the game, and here they giving teachers like 50 bands to do this. So like I'm good for 50. So I finally got on and man, and
where was you at, coach?
Wichita Falls High School.
Okay, that was your first job?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's walk through that. Walk through that a little bit.
First job, Wichita Falls High School, and man, how did it all even come about? So I was looking for a job, and I was just telling everybody that I talked to, some of my mentors, old coaches, things of that nature. Like, man, I'm looking for a job. So word of mouth, Coach Gamble, my old coach, had a friend of his who had just took a defensive coordinator job at Wichita Falls under the new coach, and they was looking for a young coach to bring on and help them get going. And I think he told them about me. They reached out to me, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm with it. I'm in the process of getting certified right now. I'm not certified yet. Hadn't even graduated yet. I got one more class to take, but once I'm done with this class, I'm gonna pull up. And so I went down there and I interviewed with Jason Lavender, who's the head coach. And man, just was a crazy story. It was down there. You know anything about Wichita Falls, man, it's hot, bro.
Yeah.
They run a bike tour. They run a bike race there every year called the Hotter Than Hell Tour.
Oh, dang. I didn't know that.
Man, if you ever pay attention, man, like in the summer, Wichita Falls is always like 8 to 10 degrees hotter than Dallas, and it's only like 2 hours away.
Dang.
It's just crazy. I don't know what it is. It's hot in that spot there. So anyway, it's hot, and I'm down there. I'm down there in like May. I don't remember yet. At the end of school, I think, and I'm in a suit. You at the interview. So I'm in a suit, and I don't know. I think my car broke down or something like that. So I was staying at my friend's house who actually had lived in some apartments there, and I had to call the head coach. Like, man, can you come swoop me up? My car done broke down. I don't know.
Oh wow!
Yeah, out of here. So he came to the apartments, couldn't find me. So like I'm out. I'm like walking through the apartments trying to find him. I'm in a suit, 300 pounds. So bro, I done sweated my suit out. My suit sweaty.
Yeah.
Wiping my head, my whole sleeve wet. He finally pulled up, and we go interview for the job, and man, it's just a memory we still talk about to this day, though. But when the interview, he saw that I was, could be somebody that was gonna be good for kids. Thought I could be good in the profession, and I didn't know really what I was doing, but I was coming in like, man, I know football, I know D-line, so let's get it. And so I'm just being good. So it ended up working out, man. I knew I wanted to do this, and I got in, and it was a good situation for me.
How long were you at Wichita Falls, Coach?
4 years.
Okay, you was at 4 years. I'm pretty sure that went good. And then what was that next step after Wichita Falls for you?
I was there 4 years. 2 years at Wichita Falls, I was assistant coach. And then my last 2 years, I had actually got promoted to defensive coordinator while I was there.
That lets you know you had that juice, Coach.
Man, I didn't. That's all I had, because I don't know if I knew how to go get the team lined up for 4 quarters. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to go learn how to really be a good coach, and learn how to like coach ball. Because I could motivate, I could tell kids to go hard, play hard, but I had to go learn football. And so was able to go do that, learn from some really, really good defensive minds, and put in a defense. Was there 2 years, coordinated the defense, and then went to West Mesquite after that. Okay. Coordinated the defense there for 3 years.
Now, what was that? I like to ask this question, especially, because I know coaching is a profession where you change jobs to get that job you want usually. But What was the difference, Coach, between Wichita Falls and West Mesquite, if it was?
Man, I mean, I feel like Mesquite, obviously being just a bigger, more larger population, there was more people,
Mm-hmm.
a wider, a more diverse group of people, and in Mesquite, that was probably the biggest difference. It was probably just more people. It was bigger. I think the kids at West Mesquite had access to a lot more things, being closer to Dallas, and so there was just more stuff to do, get into out here, and so as opposed to out there, it wasn't as much, and so the kids were kids. It was a lot of similarities.
What? And you was a D coordinator?
Yep, out there and at West, yeah.
What was looking back at that time? Any little lessons of wisdom from coaching at that time from West Mesquite?
Yeah, man. Just learned a lot about myself, about football, about kids. West Mesquite was really like the first. I won't say the first place, but it was probably the place that I had been for the first time in my career. Where I saw like coaches have to serve kids on a whole nother level.
Okay.
So Cal Ward, who's at the DC at SOC now, he actually was the one that brought me to West Mesquite. He was originally the defensive coordinator there. He brought me from Wichita Falls to West Mesquite to run his front seven. He was going to give me a co-defensive coordinator title, but basically he wanted me to coach the defensive line is what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it worked out great, got under him. And then I think the summer going into our first season, he actually went to the college level.
Okay.
At A&M and or Boise, I can't remember, but he took a college to A&M, I think, took a college job, and then that's how I was able to take it over from there. But man, just seeing coaches having to just invest in kids off the field, really having to learn how important it was to stay locked in with your kids, because we had kids, Boss Springs, all up in that West Mesquite area, Pleasant Grove, like we was right there, knocking on the door of Pleasant Grove at West Mesquite. So we just had to always, that's where I saw, man, you got to really be able to pull up at somebody's house and then have the respect of their parents and get to know the community. Like it was important. If you didn't know the community and you wasn't, somebody that was respected in the community, it was going to be hard to get kids to play for you because their reputation was a big deal. So just serving and, going to people's houses, dropping groceries, like seeing like, man, to be successful at a place like this, you got to be really committed to the well-being of kids, because a lot of the stuff that you do is not glorious, and you're not going to get a whole lot of rewards, raises, and pats on the back for that. But if you don't do that, like, you're not going to be able to coach that kid.
Real talk.
Yeah, because he got this going on or that going on. And so luckily, man, the guys that were there on that staff, Cal Ward, Jeff Neal, guys like that, man, they had been doing that for a long time, and I got to really see. And it was natural for me because I was from them areas, and so it was natural for me, but I just hadn't had to do it as a coach yet.
Yeah.
I love it in that setting.
And at that time, Coach, you were what, 20s, in your 20s?
Yeah, I was like 25.
So all you young coaches that want to get in the profession, in fact, that's if I was a young coach, I would really learn that, especially if you have to start at a starter job. It might not be the most glorious. You gotta get in that community. You gotta really invest in that kid. So